kid who swings a golf club like a dream. I'd like to try to qualify him for the U.S. Amateurs.
Coming to Apple TV Plus.
What's your name?
I'm not into older guys, but I'm flattered.
A new comedy series, Stick.
I don't want to go on this trip.
Your mouth's saying one thing, but those eyes are saying something else.
From the home of Ted Lasso.
This is your shot at redemption? This is your mulligan?
Owen Wilson.
This game takes and it takes. The game's finally giving me something back.
Stick.
You know Arnold Palmer?
Iced tea, lemonade, mix it.
I'm missing a nap for this.
Streaming June 4th on Apple TV Plus.
Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for this day.
The new McCrispy Strip is here. Dip approved by ketchup, tangy barbecue, honey mustard, Sprite, McFlurry, Big Mac sauce, double dipped in buffalo and ranch, more ranch, and creamy chili McCrispy Strip Dip. Now at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
After Zoomies at the dog park, it's time for Drive Up at Target. In goes a big bag of kibble and one squeaky chicken toy for the good boy. Drive Up that's ready when you are, only in the Target app. Just tap Target.
Welcome back to Rams Up, your favorite LA Rams podcast. We are part of the Fans First Sports Network, and you can follow us on YouTube at youtube.com/@RamsUpPodcast. I'm your host, Mark. I'll be joined often by my football guru, Ian, along with a bunch of other friends of the show on occasion. Let's get to it. Hey everybody, what's going on? Mark from Rams Up here. We are into June. Rams OTAs continue. We got 6 more, I think, before we get to that mandatory mini camp in Maui, June 16th through 18th. And a lot of good news continues to come out of Rams camp. Brock Vieira of Sports Illustrated going on and on about Konate Mumfield and how he's performing. Even went so far as to suggest he is a candidate for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Now, I think we need to pump the brakes on that. He needs to get on the field and get snaps. And with, Puka and Devontae Adams playing in front of him, Tutu Atwell, Jordan Whittington, maybe a little bit early for that. But if he gets his opportunities, we could be really excited about his production. And the bottom line is he's looking really good in camp, and I went back and watched some film of him. Really has an uncanny ability to track the ball, make catches, snagging the ball out of the air, great hands, and I think that's what Brock Vieira is seeing in camp. And Sean McVay also very excited about Jordan Whittington and his development, his dedication to the game. Not really surprised. And then also the defensive backs, Emmanuel Forbes and Sean Jolly, both looking really good in camp. Just to name a few guys whose names are circulating that are doing really good, having really good camps so far, but it is very early. Now, before we get to the gist of this episode, and what I'm going to do here coming up here is revisit my roster locks. I have a few changes there, a growing number of roster locks, and starting to bring into focus the position groups that are going to be, that are maybe already set more or less, and the ones that we have a lot of figuring out to do. And a lot of those decisions may come down to special teams. But before we get to that, it's June 1st, and this is that time of year where there could be some movement, some teams moving on from certain players. 2 guys we got to keep an eye on. One is Jalen Ramsey, the other Jari Alexander, the cornerback out of Green Bay. So 2 cornerbacks could be street free agents potentially. It's possible, and the Rams could make a move for one of them. I don't know if Alexander is really in the works for the Rams, if he'd make sense for this team. He's a pretty darn good player. But Ramsey, we've talked about him and no reason to revisit that. Does he come back and take over that star position for the Rams? I think that's what we're thinking here at Rams Up. Now, it is episode 651 on the podcast, and I'm going to talk real quickly about a player who wore number 51, and it's pretty slim pickings, that uniform number. I already talked about Will Witherspoon. That was 100 or 200 episodes ago. This episode, let's talk about center Blair Bush, who had a long and storied career, 17 years in the league, played in 246 games, drafted by the Bengals in the first round of the 78 draft, played 5 years for them, 6 years with the Seahawks, 3 with the Packers, and then the final 3 years of his career with the Rams, 1992 through 1994, out of Palos Verdes High School and the University of Washington, played in the 1982 Super Bowl for the Bengals, and he wrapped up his long career with the Rams as their starting center. Number 51 for the Los Angeles Rams, Blair Bush. Now, let's get into my roster locks, revisiting the roster locks. I did this maybe a month ago. I did it before the draft, actually, because I had targeted or highlighted some, positions that were going to be 100% sure draft picks were going to fill these roster spots. And I was right on one of them, wrong on another. But let's get into it. Here, June 1st, who are my roster locks and who are the bubble players? The guys kind of on the bubble right now. I know it's very early to make these predictions, but I think I'm going to end up being pretty darn close. We'll see how I do here. All right, let's get into this. My roster locks for the Los Angeles Rams as of June 1st, 2025. I think I have it all figured out, folks. I got this. I have 44 roster spots nailed down for us for Les Snead and Sean McVay's consumption, hopefully. Let's get into it. At quarterback, Matthew Stafford and Jimmy G are roster locks. And I thought they might draft a quarterback. Last time I did this, I had a draft at quarterback with, I think it was 25% chance of making the roster. But it's Stetson Bennett is the only other quarterback with a shot. And I have it at 50% right now. It's probably less than that. I have a feeling they are going to waive him and then try to get him on the practice squad. And if that doesn't happen, they'll pick up a veteran or a young quarterback, bring him back for the practice squad. So 2 roster locks at the quarterback position, Matthew Stafford and Jimmy G. I don't think that's too controversial. I think I'd get close to 100% agreement with that from Ram fans. And then at the running back position, and I did expect them to draft a running back, and they did, Jarquez Hunter. And I have 3 roster locks, Kyron Williams, Blake Corum, and Jarquez Hunter. And Ronnie Rivers, I'm really kind of torn on him. He's likely going to be on this roster, but, Cody Schrader, is he going to make a push? Probably not. And I'm probably second guessing myself here right now. I just hesitate to call him Ronnie Rivers. That is 100% lock. Pretty darn close, though. Maybe he should be at 90%. But 2 quarterback locks, 3 running back locks, and we're up to 5. Now, moving on to the tight ends. And I originally thought Colby Parkinson was at risk of not making this roster. Hey, June 1st, maybe something will happen, but that's when teams are most likely to release free agents, previously signed free agents that they're disappointed in, I should say. But I think all 4 of these tight ends the Rams are going to roll with them. Terrence Ferguson, Tyler Higbee, Colby Parkinson, and Davis Allen. I think they want to go 12 personnel a lot, and they're going to need all 4 of these guys. I think all 4 of them make the team. Now, I have Terrence Ferguson listed above Tyler Higbee here on the YouTube visual, not trying to make a statement there, but these are our 4 tight ends. Pretty much a done deal, and that gets us up to 9 roster locks after getting through the quarterbacks, running backs and tight ends. Still nothing too dramatic there, nothing too, no big surprises, I don't think, other than there may be some Ram fans that think Parkinson or Allen are at a slight risk. And on the offensive line, I got the 5 starters as roster locks. No brainer there. Alaric Jackson, Steve Avila, Coleman Shelton, Kevin Dotson, and Rob Havenstein. And then the 2 top backups, Bo Limmer and Warren McClendon. I am calling them 100% locks. And then after that, gets a little bit dicey. Justin Dedich and Dylan McMahon, I have them at 60%, as well as David Quisenberry, the new ad, and KT Levinston. And then I have an etc. We'll talk about some other offensive linemen when we get to the end here. I don't know what the Rams are going to do here. I think Dedich and Quisenberry are probably the front runners to take additional roster spots along the offensive line. I think they do end up with 9 eventually, 9 offensive linemen. But who they are, it remains to be seen. I'm just not committing to anybody as a roster lock at this point. I think a lot of Ram fans will be on the Justin Dedich bandwagon for a roster spot, but there's a undrafted rookie we need to talk about. So 9 plus 7 locks here, 9 going into the offensive line, 7 locks along the front there. So we're up to 16.
USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks, or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Visit USAA.com/bundle.
Bundle savings are off total premium, not available in all states or in all situations. To qualify, auto policy must be active prior to property policy issue, subject to change. Restrictions apply. Membership eligibility and product restrictions apply and are subject to change. USAA means United Services Automobile Association and its affiliates, San Antonio, Texas.
Are your business expenses playing hide and seek? With Uber for Business, the small spends that slip through the cracks, like rides and meals, go right where you need them. Because it integrates with leading expense platforms, you can say goodbye to surprise costs, missing dollars, or chasing receipts. Everything's track downable. Uber for Business. Make small steps that make a big impact. Learn more at uber.com/small steps.
Switch to Verizon Business and get more from your internet without paying more for your internet. Get LTE Business Internet starting at $39 a month when paired with select business mobile plans. That's unlimited data, and with it, unlimited possibilities. Start saving today with Verizon Business, ranked #1 in small business internet customer satisfaction by J.D. Power. Starting price for 25 megabits per second LTE internet plan with smartphone plan savings, plus taxes, fees, and economic adjustment charge. Terms apply. For J.D. Power 2024 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Summer's here, and you can now get almost anything you need for your sunny days delivered with Uber Eats. What do we mean by almost? Well, you can't get a well-groomed lawn delivered, but you can get a chicken parmesan delivered. A cabana? That's a no. But a banana? That's a yes. A nice tan? Sorry, nope. But a box fan? Happily, yes. A day of sunshine? No. A box of fine wines? Yes. Uber Eats can definitely get you that. Get almost anything delivered with Uber Eats. Order now. Alcohol in select markets. Product availability may vary by region. See app for details.
And then we get to the wide receivers. We have, I'm calling all 6 of these guys locks. Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams, Jordan Whittington and Tutu Atwell, Konate Mumpfield, and Xavier Smith. All of them locks, kind of like the tight end position. I think it's a done deal. Now there's one guy missing, and you're probably thinking to yourself, where is this individual? And we're going to get to him in a second. But, there's some third-tier wide receivers could make a push for a spot, but I'm calling that pretty doubtful at this point. This is a rock-solid group as far as I can see. 6 really good, a great group of 6 wide receivers. Nacua and Adams at the top, and a rookie Mumpfield already making a name for himself, as we discussed at the top here. So 6 wide receiver locks. We're up to 22. And who was the receiver I left off, perhaps? I got him here under the special teams. 4 locks here: Joshua Carty, Ethan Evans, our long snapper Alex Ward, and another free agent addition, Britton Covey, who at first I had him off this. The last time I did this, I did not include him. I talked about how this roster might shake out, and I thought Covey was going to be just kind of a camp guy, but after doing some research and I think a little convincing from Ian, he's brought on for one reason only: the kickoff return rules continue to change. And Covey is going to be a key part of the Rams strategy to addressing that and improving the Rams return game, because they will be returning kicks this year a lot more anyways. So 22 locks plus these 4, we're up to 26 after the offense and special teams. And let's talk about the defensive line. Another group that's getting settled pretty quickly here. Kobe Turner and Braden Fisk on the interior, Poona Ford, Tyler Davis, and the rookie Ty Hamilton. All of them are locks. 5 locks along the defensive front. And then you got Deshaun Johnson and Laurel Murchison. Do they carry both of them? Just one of them? If it is just one of them, which one is it? And your guess is as good as mine. And there could be a couple of undrafted rookies that make a push for a roster spot as well. But 26 locks plus the 5 along the front here that I'm calling locks. We are up to 31 roster locks. Hey, why even have camp here? I've got it all figured out for the Rams. There's going to be a few spots I'm unsure of, though, here. Roster locks along the edge. Well, Jared Verse and Byron Young and Josiah Stewart are my 3 locks. And then it gets a little bit dicey, and this is where special teams contributions are going to come into play. There's Keir Thomas. There's Brennan Jackson. I don't know what's up with him, the second-year player coming back. And then Nick Hampton coming back from an injury. All 3 of these guys could be on this roster, and maybe there's an undrafted free agent that will surprise us. But there's certainly going to be at least 4, probably 5 edge rushers. I just don't know who the 4th and 5th guy are going to be. So I have Thomas, Jackson, and Hampton, 80%. I don't even know what these percentages mean. Actually, 100% one of them, probably 100% 2 of them, and you could say 80% chance for any one of these individually making this roster. So with the 3 edge guys at it as locks, Verse, Young, and Stewart, we're up to 34 roster locks. And the inside linebackers, I think Omar Spates, Nate Landman, and Pooh Paul are all locks. Landman, the more I think about it, he probably shouldn't be 100% lock. I'm second guessing myself again as I go through this, because there's Sean Dolak and Troy Reeder nipping at his heels. I think they end up carrying 4 guys. Maybe I should have Landman, Reeder, and Dolak as all, 80% chance of making this roster. Let's just say there's going to be a 3rd lock. Is it Dolak or Landman or Reeder? I'm kind of contradicting myself here, aren't I, real time? But Spates and Paul are locks. I have it up here on the screen, the Landman a lock, so I'll stick with it. It's probably the one I have at most likely going to be wrong here. And then Troy Reeder and Sean Dolak. Dolak could beat out Landman, if not for a roster spot, for playing time. So 3 locks, confusing as heck when I get to inside linebackers. My apologies. 34 locks plus 3 here. That's 37 roster locks here on June 1st. The cornerback group's a little bit messy too. Witherspoon and Durant and Darius Williams, I think, are all locks at this point. Sean Jolly and Emmanuel Forbes, really good chance, but I wouldn't call them locks yet. Forbes is getting there, I think. But hey, we're still in the OTAs. Let's give it some more time. I still have concerns about him. And then there's Josh Wallace, Charles Woods, Darion Kendricks. And this is going to be impacted by a potential signing as well. I still think there's a chance the Rams bring in a veteran cornerback, which would reduce the chances of guys like Wallace, Woods, and Kendricks. and even Jolly or Forbes, which is why I have none of them as a lock. Just 3 locks at this point. And, someone took issue with me calling the Rams cornerback group a strength. I think it's a strength due to flexibility and force in numbers, but it certainly is not a strength as far as our starters go. I don't think it's a real weakness or a vulnerability. I think we're okay. Witherspoon wasn't in camp last year. Darius Williams was battling an injury early in the year. Kobe Durant keeps on getting better and better. We have a first-round pick in Emmanuel Forbes. And Sean Jolly, when he's had his opportunities, has played well, as has Josh Wallace and Charles Woods. So I stand by my comment there. If I called this unit a strength, it was strictly due to the numbers and the flexibility this group brings, not necessarily, no Pro Bowlers here, that's for sure. But 3 more locks, we're up to 40. And then we get into the safety group. I have 4 roster locks: Cameron Curl, Cam Kinchins, Quentin Lake, and Jalen McCullough. And I think there's an undrafted rookie that's got a shot at making this roster. We'll talk about him in a minute. And they could bring back John Johnson yet again. I think there will likely be up to 10 defensive backs. The question is it 6 guys that we're calling cornerbacks and 4 guys that we're calling safeties, or is it split down the middle? I'd be surprised if they carried less than 10, maybe 9, but so that free agent, 25% chance free agent, undrafted free agent would be a guy like John Johnson or the undrafted rookie we'll talk about here in a second. So 4 locks: Curls, Kinchins, Lake, and McCullough. We are up to 44 locks. And what are we going to look at here on the screen? I'm sharing all of the roster locks. I'm not going to read through these, bore you to death, but I will tell you what jumps out at me is on the offensive side, I'm saying the wide receiver and tight end groups are pretty much nailed down, as are special teams, including us, a returner / receiver, Britton Covey, I should say. Defensive line, one open spot perhaps. And where we're unsure, where we get into some uncertainty, is the edge rushers and the cornerbacks. How those positions get filled will probably be highly dependent on who can contribute on special teams. And those will be roster battles to keep an eye on, to monitor. Now, the last thing I wanted to share is the players on the bubble. Stetson Bennett, probably not. Ronnie Rivers, yeah, he'll probably make this team. And then interior offensive line, I said Justin Dedich isn't a lock. And one guy I think we should keep an eye on is undrafted rookie Willie Lampkin. A little undersized, but has, we heard on an episode probably 20 or 30 episodes ago, put on some of the best guard tape in the entire college football season. Just a little undersized, so can he hold up at the NFL level? But he is a very, very good player. And then the 3 tackles battling for a job: Leviston, Curry, and Quisenberry. I would give Quisenberry the advantage there. And then Dylan McMahon, the 6th round pick of the Eagles. The Rams snagged him off their practice squad, and he's a guy that could make a push, maybe compete with Dedich and Lampkin for a roster spot. Defensive line, it's Deshaun Johnson and Laurel Murchison, one or both of them. Inside linebacker, Sean Dolak. I think a lot of Ram fans are expecting him to make this roster over Troy Reeder, but I'm not betting against Troy Reeder quite yet. Outside linebackers, the 3 guys we talked about: Keir Thomas, Nick Hampton, Brennan Jackson. 2 of them will probably be on this roster. And then the cornerbacks, Forbes, Wallace, Woods, Jolly, a couple of them will be on this roster. And then the safeties, I'm not putting John Johnson on the bubble because he's not on the roster at all yet. But there's 2 safeties to keep an eye on that could earn that spot. And maybe the Rams want to see a little bit more of Tanner Engel, who has hung around for a while. And then the undrafted rookie, Nate Valcarcel, probably not getting that name quite right. One of these guys, if they start to shine a little bit in camp, the Rams may say, you know what, we don't need to bring back John Johnson. Let's see what Engel and Valcarcel can do. Those are my bubble players, quite a bit there. But hey, tell me what you think. Comment away. Tell me if there's somebody that should not be a lock. I know some of you are going to say Nate Landman shouldn't be a lock. I probably blew that one. And some of you are going to say, hey, I think it's too early to call Sean Dolak a lock, though. I think it could be, that's probably my one mistake here. Landman, Dolak, and Reeder will be fighting for one or two roster spots, probably two. That's it. That's a lot to digest. Those are my roster locks June 1st for the 2025 Los Angeles Rams.
This episode is brought to you by PetSmart. Stop by for Yappy Hour with your pet at PetSmart. Save $5 on walk-in grooming services like nail trims, ear cleaning, brushing, and more. No appointment needed every weekday from 2 to 6 p.m. And while you're there, Yappy Hour includes exclusive in-store deals like 25% off pet toys. Visit services.petsmart.com/grooming to learn more.
That's going to do it for this episode. Remember, you can reach us at ramsuppodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget about our YouTube channel. Till next time, keep the horns up, stay safe, and have fun out there.